What is going on, Savages? Hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing okay, just kind of preparing for the storm, the hurricane that's coming. Not looking good. But as you know, I have a list of, or as you probably know, I have a list of 10 GPU mineable, CPU mineable projects that I keep my eye on pretty much all the time. And I basically cycle through a lot of that information on the channel. I'll do videos on, a specific one of those 10. Usually it's one of those 10. And, sometimes I'll do like I did with Ryo. I did a whole week on Ryo. So it just depends on, what I feel like doing content on that week or that night or whatever. So, but it usually draws from one of those 10 projects that I keep my eye on. Basically a list of my top 10, just my top 10. But recently, just things change over time, and I've had the same top 10 for quite some time, and I just felt like it was time to shake it up a little bit and add and remove and things like that. So that's what we're going to look at tonight. I'm just going to show you all what I come up with. So welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about crypto mining and crypto related projects, you can get a daily dose of it just by clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell right now, so you don't miss out on anything that I put out in the future. And here is my current top 10 list. I think what's going to happen here, it's probably going to go, because this is in PowerPoint. So just give me a second here. I'm just going to blast through these real quick. But basically, number 1 is Conceal. Probably to the surprise of no one, I've been covering this project for quite some time. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Number 2 is Ravencoin. Lots going on there. A lot of not necessarily great things happening right now, only because their network appears to be overran by ASICs and FPGAs. So we'll get into that a little bit. Next up is Swap. Kind of a long time favorite. I've done a lot of content on them, so check them out on my channel as well. Number 4 is, shouldn't be any surprise, number 4 is Ryo, and we'll talk a little bit more about them. Although as far as data or info in this particular video, it's going to be pretty small because not very in depth, because I've done so much content. I did a whole week on Ryo. I covered pretty much the whole project and everything involved in it and all the different wallets and features and things like that. So check those out on my channel. Number 5 is Loki. I haven't talked a lot about Loki. They are working. They are doing a lot of development, but just haven't. Their price action has just been really flat. It could be because of where they're from. They're from Australia, and cryptocurrency is kind of a weird thing in Australia still. So I don't know if that has a lot to do with it, but it seems like it might have something to do with it. And number 6 is Zcash, another longtime favorite. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with that project. And number 7 is Veil. And let me make sure just a second here. Make sure my mic is actually on. Okay. All right, good. I was starting to think for a second that I forgot to turn my mic on. I've done that before. Only once or twice. All right. So let's see here. So number 7 is Veil. Always on privacy. They focus on user experience. Talk just briefly about them. Number 8 is Arrow. Brand new privacy coin. I've covered quite a bit of content. I have quite a bit of content on my channel about Arrow, so check them out as well. Number 9 is BitCash, and their price action has been a little weak also, as far as they're extremely low market cap, but we're going to talk about a couple of things that they got going on. I've got plenty of content on my channel about them as well. And number 10 is Aeon. Aeon did, if you look at the actual list from 1 to 10, they actually did a complete flop. They went from number 1 to number 10. But this really isn't in order of my favorites. It's kind of like is sort of random, but maybe the first 2 or 3 or maybe 4 are actually in somewhat of a favorite order. But again, this stuff is not. That was my updated top 10 list. We're going to go through each one. None of this is sponsored content. None of this is financial advice. I'm just giving my own opinion about projects I follow here on the channel. You see me doing content about these projects, all the time. So that's basically what this is about. You have to do your own research. As far as what I am watching, let's take a quick look at each one. I know I just broke down like what the list was, but now we're going to go through each one a little bit, just a tad, not a whole lot of data here. But number 1 was CCX, and CCX is a CryptoNote, the Conceal.network CryptoNote privacy coin, looking to be a store of value, and it's actually up. Hey, what's up, Yashnik? Yeah, Aeon is number 1. I know. In your heart, I know it is. It's the only one. But CryptoNote, CCX is a CryptoNote privacy coin looking to be a store value and is currently up about 4x since mid-July, although it was up to about 10x at one point. So it's kind of drawing back. It was up around 85 cents, and right now it's hanging around, I think, 30, somewhere around 30 to 32. And Conceal.network is a banking with interest. It has banking with interest and messaging features. All this stuff is built right into the wallet. They have a lot coming up this month, and it looks like they are primarily working on making the cloud and mobile wallets have the same features and capabilities as the desktop wallet. This includes deposits and messaging, and also getting the mobile. They're also looking at getting the mobile wallet on iOS. Right now, I think it's just on Android. They've been really, really great about making the user experience the same across multiple platforms. They'll also be summarizing and voting on consensus soon, since this is a community-driven company. I say company. I actually did a poll about this, whether or not we should call them companies or projects, and actually projects kind of won by only a little bit, and that was kind of surprising to me. But I'll continue to call them projects. So anyway, some other features they are working on as far as Conceal.network goes. They're working on Conceal.pay. That's where you have a button, on your website or wherever, and you actually accept CCX as a form of payment. They're also looking at Conceal.id. You see this in some other projects recently where they are trying to make it a little bit easier for onboarding people, because as I've talked about on the channel before, if you showed someone like, hey, here's your address, your receiving address, this is what you have to provide to someone for them to send you this cryptocurrency, and it's this, however long, 160 character hexadecimal number, then it's a little bit overwhelming at first. So Conceal.id is going to basically give you like a username, much like BitCash. BitCash does that as well. It's one of the things that they're looking at. Conceal is also working on an actual white paper that's supposed to be released, I believe, sometime soon. And another thing that they're working on is the desktop wallet's time and date estimate of unlocking, because if you're familiar with Conceal at all, inside of their wallet, I would bring it up, but I don't want to even interfere with my computer here, because I was going to bring up the wallet and stuff like that, but I think that might be too much for my little computer here to handle. But basically, you can, it's like a deposit, and it's like what do they call it? Cold staking. So you're actually on the chain, but you're actually locking up coins for a period of time. And one thing that the wallet actually lacks is an estimate of when those coins will be unlocked, right? So that's another thing that they're actually working on. And this is a, in my opinion, solid team. I mean, this is clearly one of my favorite small cap projects, and I think that they have a really great future ahead of them. As a store value on the privacy side of the crypto space because of the interest, and because you know if you lock up coins, you actually make a certain amount of interest. And they're working on some other things. I think they're going to combine, because there used to be investments and deposits, and investments were you had to have 50,000 CCX in order to create an investment, and so it basically like it ruled out a large portion of the people supporting the project, because to have 50,000 CCX, even though it's only 30 cents, that's still a lot, right? It's a lot of money. So it kind of separated out and made like some people, you know, and you had to have a lot, right, in order to do the investment, and then you didn't have a lot to do you didn't have to have a lot to do the deposits. So it was, I think they're going to combine those two, banking and deposits and investments right here is what it's talking about here. So I think that's going to be something that they'll do. They've got a roadmap here. A lot of it's already done. Oh, well, I mean, this is showing you a lot, some of the stuff that's already done. Actually, hang on. Here we go. Completed. It's a lot. I'm not going to scroll through the whole thing, but they also have what's ongoing here, and this is what they have going on currently. So anyway, I've done several videos on this project as well, so check those out on my channel. The next one up was Ravencoin, and Ravencoin, longtime favorite. It's a multi-purpose. Ravencoin is a purpose-built blockchain that focuses on asset creation and management at the protocol level, which sets it apart from all the other blockchain projects that are saying that they support assets, right, on their network. But there's not another one that I know of that's at the protocol level like Ravencoin is. So that's what sets them apart, being at the protocol level. Ravencoin is actually going through, like I kind of mentioned at the top, they're going through kind of a bad time right now because of the ASICs. And you can kind of see this in this hash rate chart here, where you can kind of tell when weird things was happening. Right here in March of this year, I believe that this was probably some FPGAs, or maybe the private ASICs, right? And maybe even back here too, where this was FPGAs. This is back in October, FPGAs and possibly private ASICs. But I think that the ASICs were actually right here on the private. And whenever I say private, I just mean that they weren't being sold to the public, right? So there were farms being built with these ASICs, probably private, and that's why the hash rate shot up like it did. And then, then there was the public, right? So now around in this area right here, they were released to the public, and the public started buying them. So now look at the hash rate, at 21 terahash. I mean, guys, it went from like a pretty steady, you had 1, you had 2 back here in October of last year. And so it went from 2 to 21. That's insane. I mean, yeah, there was, this is like 100,000 1080 Ti's right here. This difference. All right, so yeah, so there, and then what's happening, what's really bad, is that these ASIC farms or even the FPGA farms, a lot of them have overhead, or they want to at least break even on their hardware, right? And they're not looking at breaking even; they're looking at making profit. So what's happening is they're dumping that Raven on the market, I think pretty much every night in order to pay the bills. So what kind of effect is that having on the price? Well, it's not great, right? And Raven has never been up there as far as like really, a high value or anything, but you can tell that it seems like it's being dumped. And if you follow Whalebot on, I think it's Raven Whalebot on Twitter, you can see it every night. You watch like different deposits of 3 million Raven, at a time, and it's just crazy. So they are looking to fork at the end of, at the October 1st. So on the first day of October, they're forking to a new algorithm, X16R version 2. So that should give some relief to the ASIC and the ASIC issue. Although I have heard that FPGAs are already preparing, or are actually already prepared to adopt to the new algo X16R v2, but I don't know how much of that hash rate is you can attribute to FPGAs. So it kind of remains to be seen. I can see them, if I was just to take a guess here, I would say that you will most likely see, after the fork, you will most likely see it go from 20, if it stays at 20. So I would see it go to probably around 7, if I was to guess, after the fork. But, I'm just some idiot on the internet, so that's just my guess. I would say 7, given, like a little bit of a average from this little jump here. Yeah, I would say probably around 7 or 8 is probably where the hash rate's going to go. Difficulty is going to drop, all that stuff, so hopefully it'll start being at least somewhat profitable for GPU miners again, Because remember, one of their focuses was, as a project, Ravencoin's focus was ASIC resistant, right? That was the whole, not that they have marketing or anything, but that was the whole thing behind X16R to begin with, was ASIC resistance. So stick with it, guys. All right. The devs, and something else that's going on with Ravencoin, though, that's kind of cool, and I'm surprised that they're doing all this all at once. And it's kind of impressive that they're actually tackling all this all at once. But the devs are actually working on restricted assets and tags, which are 2 important features required for more adoption into the financial markets of the world, which is kind of the goal of Ravencoin to begin with, right? So they are working on a lot. I give them a lot of credit. This is a huge undertaking and all that stuff. So hopefully we see brighter days for Ravencoin after the fork in October. Next up is Swap. And that's number 3 on my list, is Swap, and they're all about no scams, being stable and reliable, no or low fees, and no BS, right? That's what their motto is. They have a cool solo mining micropool capability, kind of like Rio. A little different though, because this one, is not inside of the wallet. You have to actually have the micropool running, and it's a little bit more complex. But I do have videos on that on my channel as well, so check those out. They are currently busy, from what I understand. I don't know a whole lot about the what's going on with the project right now. But it seems like they're busy working on a mobile wallet, I believe, is one of their next goals. So cool stuff there. Number 4 is Rio. And Rio, I've got a lot of content on Rio, so I'm not going to just beat this up during this quick little stream here. Just check out my channel. I think I have an actual playlist for Rio over there as well. Right here. Whoops. I do that every single time. Here you go. So there's lots of content here on Rio, so check that out. Need that. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, got a lot of videos on Rio, so check those out. All right. Next up is Loki. And this is another privacy coin that focuses on creating great privacy tools. Some of the things that they are working on currently include the Loki Messenger for Android. I haven't done much Loki content at all. I probably should start because I do really like this project. It's always been on my list. It's just I don't know why I haven't. I don't know. I'd have to really research why I haven't done more content on them. They are working on also Blink, which is basically like a super fast way of transactions going through the network. They have LokiNet coming up. I think that one of the reasons that I don't do a lot of content is because they're just right now they're just working on so many different things, and hopefully they get a lot of this deployed. It looks like they are getting things working. So yeah, I'm anxious to see what's going on with them. I need to dive a little bit deeper into the project a little bit and see what is going on with them. But they're working on LokiNet. They have, which is like how would you describe it? It's like a VPN that is a decentralized VPN, I guess is a way to kind of look at it. Like decentralized surfing, decentralized, you know, and they basically build anonymity type tools, right? So they want everybody to be anonymous on the internet. It's kind of like their focus. They're also looking at making Android clients for LokiNet as well. Cool stuff over there. All right, number 6 is Zelle. Haven't done a lot of Zelle content. I've got a couple of videos on them. It's just one of those projects that I am keeping my eye on. It's kind of funny, they used to be Zelle Cash, but now they're just Zelle. So as far as that particular, as the currency, it's not Zelle Cash anymore, it's just Zelle. But some projects that the business or this project is working on, some projects that this business are working on is Zelle Core. Zelle Core is the wallet. It's the multi-asset wallet. It even supports Ravencoin, which is kind of cool. You know, another project that I'm interested in. It supports Ravencoin and Ravencoin assets, which is kind of huge. Not a lot of wallets do that, you know, where they support both the crypto and the asset layer as well. And Zelle ID is let's see here. Click on Zelle ID. This was the just decentralized. I was trying to remember if it was distributed or decentralized. Decentralized two-factor authentication, easy login. This is kind of along those same lines as what was the other project? We were just talking about it. Conceal, with the Conceal ID. Similar to that, where you know you kind of have an easier way of interacting with the network. So that's something else that they're working on. Let's see here, Zelle ID. They also have Zelle nodes. Go back here. And these power future distributed applications, smart contracts, side chains, and asset layers, things like that. So I don't know all the details. I know they've got tiers here. Looks like I don't know how much that would be, because Zelle is currently like, what is the value of Zelle right now, USD wise? I probably should be going to each one of these and seeing what the value is. So let's call it 10 cents just to make it easy. So what would that be? $1,000 for a Zelle node basic? Is that? Am I doing my math right there? Anyway, so yeah, they got different levels, different tiers, different rewards. Now, one thing I do want to point out about this that I like is they don't favor the nodes so much over the proof of work, the mining part of it, which I really like, because a lot of times you'll see these projects, they'll hit the nodes will get a larger portion of the pie, and you know they haven't really invested in anything other than money, right? They've only thrown money at it, and they haven't done the rig building or the hardware purchase and the gambling, and you know the risk is a lot higher with the proof of work side when it comes to the hardware and all that stuff. On the node side, it's basically like, here, I have this money, let's put this money in here, and then you know you get rewards based on it. So I do like that it's 75 proof of work or 75% proof of work, 25% Zelle nodes. So I do like that. That's a good thing that they've done there. Next up is Veil. Veil is always on privacy. proof of stake earning potential. I think it's actually in the wallet. You can actually activate the staking, and they're focused on user experience, you know, not interoperability, but yeah, end user experience, like the user interface. They want it to look cool. They want it to be easy to use and things like that. So pretty cool project. It seems, it's kind of funny as I go through these, like most of them are privacy related. Wonder why. And number 8 is AeroChain, brand new project. This one is new to my list. And actually, yeah, the other ones that are new to my list are Rio and Arrow. I think those are the only two that actually changed. So yeah, so Arrow is a always-on privacy coin, truly private payment network that is permissionless, decentralized, and secure, which isn't really like, you know, crazy different than most other projects. This one, I have to be honest, I'm not completely blown away by this one. You know, some of the goals are similar to a lot of other cryptos, which I've said in the past that, you know, if you're not bringing something truly unique, then, you know, then why are you here, kind of thing. But I think that they're going to need to implement some unique features in the near future to stay relevant. And if I look at their roadmap here, I'm not sure I see it, but I'm putting them, they're kind of like on probation with me, I guess you could say. So I'm just going to keep an eye on them. I think I like the privacy coins. I like it being new, obviously. You know, they do have some things that they're working on. I'm just going to give them a chance. And like I said, I'm just going to keep my eye on them. They are going to remain on my list until I don't think that it's necessary for them to be there. So yeah, I'm keeping my eye on them. And number 9 is BitCash. I've done some content on BitCash, quite a lot. I think I've done wallets, I've done how to mine it, I've done, yeah, quite a bit. They do have a lot going on. Surprisingly, they don't have a lot of developers. There's one main developer, and then I don't think that they have a huge team. I think that it's kind of a small team. And it's surprising how well this project is developed based on only, you know, a few people doing it, right? It's really kind of amazing. Their focus is to implement traditional banking capabilities to create a usable crypto. The user interface and simplicity is a primary focus of theirs. Recently, they released BITC dollar, BITC dollar, BitCash dollar, a stable coin that's on the same chain as BitCash itself. And all of that is managed from within the wallet, which is really cool. And it reminds me of something that Haven Protocol was doing and working on, but BitCash has already done it. Basically, you know, the offshore storage and all that stuff that Haven talked about. So it really looks like BitCash, surprisingly, has been able to do this. Again, with a really small team. They're currently working on mobile wallets for both iOS and Android that have all the same features as the desktop wallet. So that's going to be huge once that's available. I think that they do have, I don't know if they have it for both yet. I haven't even checked. I was waiting to do anything on the mobile wallet side because I was going to do a video on it. So I don't know if they actually have that released or not. I'll have to check into that. But, you know, just keep your eye on my channel. Maybe you'll see a video about BitCash mobile wallet. You never know. All right, and last but not least, certainly not least, Aeon Network. And again, these are not in order. You know, maybe the top, like I said, 1 through 3 or 4 probably are my favorites. Aeon's struggling a little bit only because I don't even know. I don't even know why they're struggling so much. It seems like one of those projects that should be so much more USD value, but I hate even comparing it, right? I don't even like talking about USD value because it makes me feel kind of dirty, you know? But Aeon is a Web 3.0 platform that focuses on interoperability. They do have some big things coming up, like staking alongside mining with their Unity protocol, which I talked about a little while back, maybe last week. I've got several videos on Aeon, so check those out on my channel as well. But Unity is probably their next big thing. I'm curious to see how that's going to actually affect the price action, you know, the value, the USD value, given the technology that they're using and how they're implementing it. So I think it's going to be interesting. Let me hop over here and check the chat real quick, see what y'all are up to. What's up, Michael Johns? Haven't seen you in forever, man. What is going on, Ryo? Crypto Hash, what's up, man? Yashnik's in here, of course. Not of course. You've been kind of slacking off too. You haven't been in my streams very much. What's up, Fold'em and Jalen? Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. So that pretty much wraps up my brand new top 10 list. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss anything. This is why that was playing earlier. And yeah, I think that's going to do it. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. I will probably be live again tonight at 9:30, most likely, you know, normal time. This one was kind of like I just kind of wanted to throw this out there to get the new top 10 list out there. So that's what this was all about. So I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you watching, hanging out while I'm waiting on this storm to come. Dorian. That's a big storm. Although I saw just recently that it was weakening a little bit, so that's a good thing. All right, guys, I will see you probably at 9:30. Stay savage.